working on. A lot of the work that we've been doing lately has been working with leadership, and I don't know if you've seen, but Affinity is hosting the Black Print. This is a leadership conference a virtual leadership conference that we're doing in the month of July. It'll be every Thursday in July from 12 to 1. Register, it's free. You'll hear from experts in the field about what it's like to be a chief executive of an organization, how to start a grassroots organizing campaign, how to build a career around your identities, and how to be successful in running for political office. And so we're working to build the capacity of Black LGBTQ women specifically. Obviously, anything that's good for Black LGBTQ women is actually good for all of the world. But we like to highlight Black LGBTQ women because we're not highlighted all the time. We just have a little special love. But I did want to say that Affinity is so thrilled to be able to host the Black Lesbian Archives. I got to know Crew when Crew came to volunteer for Black Gold, our annual casino night. And she had this amazing idea about wanting to do these archives. And you know, I am the only full-time staff person here at Affinity, and I know firsthand how difficult it is as one person building a program that would take a lot of people to do. And so the beautiful archives that you see around, Cruz has done all of this, has spent so many hours putting these things up. These things don't just, it's not as easy as it looks. And I know how many hours she's been here this week just making sure that this happens. So.
All right, Cruz.
Crew's going to tell us a little bit more about how the Lesbian Archives came together and who she is, but I did just want to say that we are so honored to have the opportunity to work with you, Crew.
Thank you.
You're brilliant. Just love you. Thank you so much.
I didn't want to start doing this. Thank y'all so much for coming through. I really do appreciate y'all.
We appreciate you, Crew.
I wasn't trying to do this at the beginning. I was trying to wait till I said everything and then, you know, but
Emotions come when they come. They come when they come,
You
Crew.
worked hard.
You worked hard.
It's really, really good to see y'all here. I don't think y'all understand.
All right, Crew.
Center. My name is Crew. I am the CEO of Tenfold Productions, and this is the first ever Black Lesbian Archives in Chicago.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am an archivist. I do creative direction, event programming. I'm an astrologist, so if you ever want to get your life read, come to me. And I also DJ, so if you ever need a DJ for any of your upcoming events, let me know. I'm on the ones and twos. Found know. She know what it is. So how the archives came about. So I started the Black Lesbian Archives back in June of 2017. I'm a big history nerd. I'm always like researching things, and it's kind of like when I started getting more connected to who I was as a Black lesbian, I was online researching. I'm like, where we at? Like, where are we at? So I created the website. I just went into like this full Virgo sun. I went into like this full rabbit hole of like digging out information, trying to figure out what it is. Fast forward, I came to Chicago in 2016, told myself I wasn't gonna move here. Then I moved here in August of 2017. I happened to run into or see the event of, it was the Dyke Spaces Lost and Found with Kristen Cosler. And that's where I met Tracy. I hit up Tracy, she was like, wait, what's going on? Who is this? What's going on? What do you need?
I was carrying heavy bags and she picked them up and I was,
that's all she wrote. And then, so after that, we connected. I went to one of the most beautiful archival houses in Chicago on Prairie Avenue. Shout out to Prairie Avenue. We sat down and talked. She told me about Imani. I went to Imani. We sat down and talked. From Imani, she started telling me about Cookie, and then You know, I seen Yvonne. Okay, let me tell you how I met Yvonne. It might gonna be too long. So I went to the Burning Bowl. Yvonne invited me to the Burning Bowl. And I was sitting down in the back, way in the back, because we got there kind of late, you know. And I turned around, and she didn't have her glasses on, but I turned around, I was like, it's that. I'm like, it's that. And okay, I'm like, okay. So I kept looking back, and then she kept looking like, who are you? Like, and then finally, afterwards, I ran into her, I'm like, I called you.
Yvonne Welbon.
No, I called you something else. I think it was, I called you something. You was
Yvonne
like,
instead of Yvonne.
yeah, I said Yvonne. She was like, it's Yvonne. And I was like, hey! So then after that, I told Yvonne what was going on.
We took selfies.
Right. We exchanged, we met at the Currency Exchange Cafe. We sat down, we talked, and now it turned into like this whole thing. You know what I mean? It's been 8 months since October till now of this project. So when I tell y'all, I'm so happy y'all are here today to witness this. Thank you. It's a very, very special day today. I want to give a special thanks to Gerber, Hart, Windy City Times, Law 91 Media. Where you at, Ari? Shout out to you. Ro on Air. Where you at, Ro? Over here on the photography. Womb Poetry. That was my Lucy Lou ad. We got Eni and the J, Lucy Lou. Make sure y'all come to that on the 21st as well. She Movement, the Seminary Co-op Bookstore, Essential Vibes, Foul, Fontalicious Designs, Affinity Community Services, and Leah. Thank you so much. There's a cake back there too because it's Gemini season and Yvonne celebrated a birthday back in May. So if you would like some cake in celebration of Yvonne and Gemini, shout out to the Geminis in the building. Happy New Moon and Gemini. And yeah, keep the archives intact, please. I know they are beautiful, but we are trying to preserve these things. So if I see all with them in your pocket, I'm going to call you out on it. Keep them where they at. The dates coming up, I'm actually going to give y'all an update as y'all go out just so you can see. So on Monday, we have the short film screening. That's going to be Angela Casey Wright on the home stretch. And then we got Cookie Hughes coming through. Say what's up. Yeah, say what's up. What else we got? The 21st, Womb Poetry. Come through. You could share your favorite lesbian poets there. Donations are accepted as well. Then July 3rd, we have a panel discussion. We got my DJ over here coming through. We got Pat coming through. We got Chris Smith coming through. Who else? Anna Deshawn too. So make sure y'all come through for that. Archival workshop, that's going to be with the Southside Home Movie Project. That's August 4th. What time do we have on? Did we put this on again? Yeah, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I think that's all we have going in. Now I'm going to introduce my lovely Yvonne over here. I got a little something for you so y'all know what it is. 1 second. Okay. Yvonne attended the School of the Art Institute of Chicago for the MFA program in film and video and Northwestern University for a PhD in radio, TV, and film. She has directed 9 films and produced 15 others. Her work has been screened on PBS, Stars, Encore, TV1, IFC, Bravo, BET, and the Sundance Channel in Toronto International Film Festival. Wait. I just jumped over. Living with Ruth LC. Did y'all take? There was a video here.
Oh, I grabbed it when we moved the.
There's one over there.
There's one over here too.
Oh.
There's another one.
Shout out to Gerber. Including the GLAAD Awards, Media Awards for Outstanding Documentary, her ongoing Sundance Documentary Fellowship Project, Sisters in Cinema, a documentary website, and forthcoming book based on her doctoral dissertation about the history of African American women feature film directors and personal struggles they face within the industry based on their identities. I introduce y'all to Yvonne.
Okay, I'm happy to be here. Thank you all for your patience. I had a lovely little video for you, but as you can see, we didn't make it work.
Yes,
but it's gonna be great anyway. I'll act out the parts that you're gonna miss.
So we're gonna go ahead and jump into an interview. If you like to afterwards, there's books available as well. So, if you want to get your book
And I'll
on.
sign it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Special, just for you.
Let's get into it. So, the Sisters in the Life Archive Project. How you feeling? Ooh, my phone falling asleep. Let's talk about, first of all, your upbringing, background. How was it growing up? Where you from? Where you at? Oh, yeah, that too. Yes. Can you hear me now? Wait,
Go ahead.
check.
Hello,
Oh.
DJ Crew on the ones and twos.
Okay, so I was born here in Chicago, and I grew up primarily in South Shore. Single mom. I had 3 other siblings that grew up with me. I have more siblings, but you know how Black families are. Anyway, so there were 4 of us who grew up together. My brother is house music producer Joe Smooth. For those of you all who like house music, he had the warehouse in the 90s, not the one in the 70s, he had the one in the 90s. My sister Anita teaches at the School of the Art Institute, and my other sister Serena is a Chicago public school teacher, a psychologist. My household was Afro-Latina. My mother and grandmother are from Honduras. And all that means is like our soul food was more like tamales and red beans and rice and some cassava cake. Yeah. Okay. And the main thing to know about my childhood is my mother was really into the arts. So she took us, and Chicago, you could do so many things with no money. So we would go to plays, all the museums were free when I was growing up. So we would go to them all the time. I remember going to the Hyde Park Art Fair. That was always the beginning of our summer. We would start there. Yeah, and really just concerts. Remember those concerts at Navy Pier and downtown and all. Anyway, we totally took advantage of that, and that helped me have my focus around the arts.
Okay, cool. So how did you get into media making, producing, and screenwriting, and, all those good things?
So I was a reader as a child. I was not watching television or movies, believe it or not. And what happened was after I graduated from college, I moved to Taiwan. And when I was in Taiwan, I didn't know I was doing this, but I started the first English language arts and leisure magazine of its kind in the nation. And I was 23. And when I was doing that, I got to meet all of these filmmakers from Taiwan, and they were like telling their own stories, and it was really inspiring. The other thing that happened at that time is I had a friend in Taiwan at the time, and she told me she was coming back to America to get something called an MFA. I'm like, what is that? And I knew it was like a master's, just like a master's in fine arts. We watch movies and we learn how to make films. I'm like, really? Like you can get an MFA? You can get an advanced degree where you're primarily watching a lot of movies? And I thought I was going to get an MBA. But after 5 years running my magazine in Taiwan, I kind of had to learn about business, the hard way. And I learned a lot. And I thought it might be more enjoyable to actually get an MFA. So I came back to the States and I went to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago to study filmmaking.
Okay, cool. So Sisters in the Life Archive and Documentary Project, we getting into it. What about it? Let's talk about it.
So there I am in film school. And I only knew the name of one African-American woman director. It was Julie Dash. And one of my professors said, you know what, you're probably the other one. There's probably 2 of you. Okay, so anyway, okay, we know 2 things. One thing is, if cinema started in 1896, we knew there were some Black women making movies by the early 1900s, right? And the other thing is, we know Black women do what we set our minds to doing, so I knew there was a history. And this is the history that I set out to find. I wanted to find, where are my sisters in cinema? So I started a database. I started going to the library back, remember the library, and doing research. And I joined like Women in the Director's Chair. I started working in Chicago Gay and Lesbian Film Festival, International Film Festival. ETA had an arts festival back in the day. where, I was just really trying to find my sisters. I wrote articles, I started curating for festivals, I'm like finding this history. I started a website in 1997. Right after the internet started in 1994, whatever year that was. And I started crowdsourcing our history before crowdsourcing was even a word. And I found my sisters in cinema. And the big thing is I did the database, the website, I made a documentary called Sisters in Cinema, and I wrote my doctoral dissertation and wrote like probably it might be the only history still on Black women filmmakers. So.
All right. So in the book, Jocelyn Taylor talks about documenting history, and she says, if we're all friends writing our own history, well, it's been done before. History is not absolute truth. Can you talk more about the importance of documenting history and how Sisters in the Life project came into form?
Okay, so, okay, I'm gonna read a little bit from the intro for the book. So, yeah, let me just read a little piece here. So, since the 1922 theatrical release of Tressie Soter's A Woman's Era, approximately 100 feature films have been directed by African American women. Almost 1/3 of those films were directed by Black lesbians. Statistically, about 4% of the adult American population is likely to identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. But over 30% of the feature films have been directed by this minority population. While production budgets and audience reach vary widely, the Black women who have directed the most feature films are almost all Black lesbians. So, believe it or not, we have the woman who has directed the most feature films in our country, in this room. It's Cookie Hughes. Cookie Hughes has directed more feature films than any other Black woman in the country. She's made about 18, 20 films, I don't know, but 8 of them are features. 8? Yeah. The person who comes in second place is also a Black lesbian. It's Cheryl Dunier. She's directed 6 feature films. Person who comes in third place is Shine Louise Houston. She directs something called ethical porn. I don't know if anybody's seen her stuff.
Yes. Crash Pad is amazing.
Crash Pad, right. Crash Pad is the main one. So she's directed 5 features. So we don't get to Ava DuVernay and Casey Lemons until after that. And, they're our straight little sister counterparts. The first Black woman to win an Academy Award, a Student Academy Award, was a Black lesbian, Michelle Parkinson, 1974. The first Black woman nominated for a non-Student Academy Award for directing, also a Black lesbian, Diane Houston, and her film is called Tuesday Morning Ride.